Hashtag Ask Goji Man, why is animal protein so bad for us? Great question, James. In this video, I will give you 10 of the main reasons why animal protein is so bad for you and why you should stay well away from it. Roll the titles. Hi, I'm Goji Man. I'm currently studying for a Masters in Nutrition and qualifying as a nutritionist, and next year I'll be studying for a PhD in nutritional science. I make daily videos on vegan health and nutrition under the hashtag Ask Goji Man, so if you have a question for me, then hashtag Ask Goji Man in the comments below. So without further ado, to the question. So according to the World Health Organization, adult men and women should eat between 0.8 and 0.9 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight. But does it really matter for our overall health and longevity, whether it comes from plants or animals? Well, the science says an emphatic yes, so let's jump into it. So here is my top 10 list of why animal protein is so bad for you. So number 1, animal protein increases IGF-1. So when we consume animal proteins, there is a higher proportion of essential amino acids, and this increases a hormone in the body called IGF-1, which is insulin-like growth factor. What IGF-1 does in the body is that it stimulates cell division at a faster rate in both normal cells and also cancerous cells. And the science has been quite clear in this area. If you consistently have elevated IGF-1 levels, then your risks for cancer and malignancy are dramatically increased. Number 2, animal proteins cause high levels of TMAO, which is trimethylamine N oxide. So when you eat animal proteins rich in choline and carnitine, the gut bacteria convert this into TMAO. TMAO is very inflammatory and damages endothelial cells and artery walls and causes widespread inflammation in the body. And high levels of TMAO in the body also make it a lot easier for cholesterol plaque formation to occur. Therefore, if you eat a diet rich in animal proteins, you are at a significantly higher risk of having cardiovascular disease during your lifetime. Number 3, animal protein contains high amounts of phosphorus. And why is this bad? Well, we know from the science that when you consume high amounts of phosphorus, the body needs to equalise the phosphorus levels by releasing a hormone called fibroblast growth factor 23. Just like TMAO, FGF23 can be incredibly damaging to the blood vessels and arteries. So for some eating high amounts of animal proteins, this means they are far more likely to get abnormally large hearts, which is often associated with heart disease, heart failure and sudden heart attacks. So quite simply, eating high amounts of animal protein with its high concentration of phosphorus can increase FGF23, which in turn can cause many different issues in the body. Number 4, animal proteins contain higher amounts of sulfur-based amino acids. And why is this a problem? Well, when you eat higher concentrations of sulfur-based amino acids, it creates a state of acidosis in the body. So to counteract this, the body releases calcium from the bones to neutralise the acidity levels. Longer term, this has many implications in terms of overall bone health, and it is a primary cause of why those who eat higher amounts of animal proteins have higher rates of osteoporosis and hip fractures. Number 5, animal proteins negatively impact hormone levels in the body. So for example, we know that those who consume higher amounts of animal proteins in their diets have significantly higher levels of cortisol in their body. In fact, these cortisol levels can often be double of someone who is eating normal levels of protein in their diet, say those on plant-based diets. And high levels of cortisol over the long term has been linked to insulin resistance and cholesterol issues in the body. High amounts of animal proteins can also suppress testosterone in the body. So for example, if you look at natural bodybuilders who aren't taking steroids or testosterone, their testosterone levels can drop by up to 75% leading up to a competition when they increase their amounts of protein in their diets. And when you interfere with these hormone levels in the body, so you decrease testosterone and you increase cortisol levels, then you are far more likely to gain weight as the body struggles to correctly metabolize your food. Number 6, animal proteins regularly damage the kidneys and cause kidney disease. So for example, in America, 1 in 8 on those standard Western type diets have kidney disease as a result of the overconsumption of animal proteins. These types of diets high in animal protein can cause impairment of renal vascular function, inflammation and subsequent rapid decrease in kidney function. High meat protein intakes result in increased dietary acid loads and compensatory increases in renal acid excretion and ammonia production, leading to metabolic acidosis with the potential to further damage the kidneys. So a lot of jargon, but essentially high protein diets create too much acid in the kidneys and then they can simply give way. Number 7, people who eat higher amounts of animal proteins don't live as long. So generally speaking, only 1 in 10,000 of us will live to the age of 100 or beyond. And what's the secret of these people? Well, they generally consume no or very minimal animal protein. So for example, this prospective cohort study of US healthcare professionals included 131,000 participants from the Nurses Health Study and also the Health Professionals Follow-up Study, and found that those who ate the most animal protein had a significantly higher risk of all forms of death compared to those who ate plant-based proteins. What was really cool about this study was that the scientists showed that when 3% of energy from plant protein was substituted for an equivalent amount of processed red meat protein, there was a 34% lower risk of death. Number 8, those who eat higher amounts of animal proteins have higher rates of cancer. So for example, from one of the largest ever studies looking at diet and cancer, it showed that the incidence of all cancers among vegans was significantly lower than those who ate animal-based proteins. And for vegans, they had a lot less of the fastest growing cancers, which include leukemias, lymphomas, breast cancers and prostate cancers, which are more likely to kill you. These studies showed that those eating poultry animal proteins had up to triple the rate of cancer for every 50 gram of daily protein added to their diet. Number 9, you can't just eat animal protein without the heme iron. Now, iron is one of the most important and abundant metals in the body, and there are 2 forms of iron, so heme iron, which is found in animals, and non-heme iron, which is found in fruits and vegetables. So one of the main problems with heme iron is that it can convert less reactive oxidants into highly reactive free radicals. And these free radicals from heme iron can damage various cell structures, proteins and DNA, and leave you more susceptible to cancers and many other leading causes of death. Number 10, animal protein increases your risk of type 2 diabetes. So according to the results of this large meta-analysis study, the total intake of protein and animal protein was associated with a higher risk of type 2 diabetes, both in men and women, and the intake of plant-based protein was associated with a lower risk of type 2 diabetes. So I hope this video helps you, James, and you can see that animal proteins do no good in the body. As always, for the rest of you, if you have a question for me, then hashtag Ask Goji Man in the comments below, and I'll choose one of these questions to answer in tomorrow's video for you. And as always, remember to look after your body because it's the only place you have to live. And I'll see you next time.